Let's see. We're working on the YouTube stream. That apparently did not come up. That's interesting. I didn't notice. There it is. Okay. All right. So we are live on YouTube now. My apologies. Somehow the YouTube stream didn't start. That's weird. Um, so I don't know if I don't know what happened there. So I apologize. That was kind of a weird deal. But the good news is that we are there now. So what you've missed is that we are looking at this line to the west, which is quickly intensifying here, and we'll take a quick look and see if we have any gusty winds coming out of that yet. Let's just look very briefly here. Not really seeing a lot in terms of gusty winds on this line, so not seeing too much. And yeah, we are on YouTube now. Unfortunately, we weren't for a little bit. So for the YouTube folks, let's get back to where we do have a severe thunderstorm warning. This is the warning here for parts of Freestone, Limestone, and Navarro counties here. So this is a particularly nasty storm right now. This one producing up to ping pong sized hail. Not much of a wind threat, not really seeing a tornado threat here with this storm, but a fairly decent hail core as that moves on to the north between Mejia and Fairfield here, Mejia and Teague rather, going to be moving northward towards parts of Navarro County, eventually moving up towards Richland Chambers Lake, and then further on to the north towards the Currens area. So that's what we're watching at this point. Streetmen, they're going to be in the line of this storm as well as we get closer. Let's kind of take a closer look at this. So moving right towards Curven, towards Wortham. Richland may get part of this towards Eureka. And again, Richland Chambers Lake really going to be kind of under the gun for this storm. So just keep that in mind. It is a hail threat at this point primarily, not looking at a tornado threat from that. Now, as I stated before, and if you've seen on the page, oh, somebody wants his, yes, the weather cat is here. He wants his moment of fame, of course. So I'll just hang on to you for a minute, but it's been a while, right? And I will say that the Weather Cat will be featured on South Metro Weather merch, which is on the way. It's not here yet, but it's on the way. But we do have this line moving into where we have that tornado watch. I would be more concerned at this stage with this line producing some kind of rotation than this storm to the south. That's just for the moment here. We'll see what that does. Oh, yeah, I know. For the moment there, but this line to the west, this is kind of the second round of what we were looking for. We didn't get a whole lot out of this first round. We were watching to see if we were going to get breaks in the clouds, perhaps thinning clouds that would allow for more heating this afternoon. We didn't really see that. We had that tornado watch in place, but so far we've been able to kind of avoid a lot of the issues that were possible with that. So we're in a good spot for now, but we will have to watch and see what this does. Now, something I want to show you before we lose the visible satellite here. The sun's going down, and when you lose the sun, you lose visible satellite. But I want to show you, here's that line developing west of our area, moving in towards Cleburne. Here is this area, the storm, the severe storm near Mejia. Yeah, he's going to try to catch my hand anywhere because he wants me to pet. But you see west of Breckenridge, west of Eastland, there's nothing out there. In fact, I got a text message from my sister just several minutes ago saying driving west on I-20 to Lubbock, and the temp went down from 75 to 57 in about 10 minutes. So they're headed west. Some of the family is out to Raider Land out there, and you know, it's gotten cool pretty quick. Well, that's the cold front moving in. Unfortunately, the cold front won't really make us cold. We'll be in the low 70s the next few days. It will be drier, though, which would be more comfortable. But we do have plenty of storms to watch over the next several minutes. But you see, there's this thin line, very thin line, and behind it, a few showers. Depending on what happens overnight, there may be some showers early in the morning, but tomorrow looks dry. For tonight, the tornado watch continues until 9 o'clock. We'll have to see what that does as time goes on to see what we will be dealing with in terms of these storms. Like I said, for the moment, we're kind of dealing with limited instability, limited heating here. So it's at very least not near as intense as it possibly could have been. This line moving through Cleburne right now, we can take a look at vertically integrated liquid here, not even really seeing any hail out of this. So not seeing any kind of the severe weather here, not seeing anything too intimidating at the moment, but we are seeing a fairly decent, you can see that, fairly decent hail core right here between Teague and in the Mejia area. So that's that storm that is severe warned. That will only be severe warned for about another 10 minutes or so, and that will have to probably get a downstream warning here in the next few minutes. So yeah, if you're new to the brand, this is the Weather Cat. He hasn't been involved much lately, but he is here, and he always makes sure to get his few minutes of fame. You notice he's completely fine right now, as long as I'm holding him. So, but he tends to come in here, make some noise, knock some things around until I pick him up. He knows that if he starts making chaos, that he will get his few moments on the air, which really is just his few moments getting attention from me. So that's kind of the setup right now. It's really not, there's not much going on across our area at the moment, aside from this storm that is getting ready to move into Navarro County. And we will really kind of focus there because, again, the storm, we'll keep that in the corner there, but this heavy rain near Cleburne, really not doing a whole lot. It's this cluster that is really the most intense here at this very moment. So that's where we have to kind of put our focus. Let's see. Okay, so the tornado watch has been updated here. Bosque, Coryell, Erath, Hamilton, Hood, Jack, Lampasas, Montague, Palo Pinto, Parker, Somerville, Wise counties canceled from that watch. So if you are behind this line, the tornado watch has been canceled for you. It is continued for our core counties, Ellis, Hill, Johnson, and Navarro, because we are ahead of it. So presumably, if you are behind that line, which represents the cold front at this point, that's moving eastward. Once you're behind it, you're done for the night. And it does look like we may get done with that fairly early. So at very least, we won't be dealing with this stuff too terribly late, and we can all stay up late and enjoy our Friday night instead of dealing with storms. And hopefully we can get some of these storms out of here before Friday night football kicks off. So that will be a blessing. Unfortunately, though, we are dealing with some of these storms in the Corsicana area, or soon in the Corsicana area, north of Grosbeck, near Fairfield, that could be dealing with, could be causing at least some of the problems for those Friday night games. And I'm getting, I love how the, let's see. I love how the cat is getting more positive attention than I am. This is what he really wants right here. This right here is what he really is here for. If he could just coast like this through the day, he would. Unfortunately, I do have other things I have to do, but for the most part, if he could just do this all the time, he'd be completely fine with it. Right? Yeah, you're getting ready to go to sleep, huh? Content little tail wags here. You can start see, and then he starts cleaning himself, which is what he does when he's ready to go to sleep. So he would just chill right here all the time if he could. But unfortunately, I have work to do, dude. We got things to do. We got storms to talk about. And you know that's true. But you're gonna ride this pony as long as you can, huh? Yeah. All right. Well, let's do this because we have things going on. We have storms moving into our immediate area. So this storm, we are going to keep an eye on that. That is now moving into the Corsicana, the Navarro County area. So this storm continuing to move northward, that hail core making its way into Navarro County fairly soon. As this storm moves northward, the farther north you go, the more stable the air is. And so it won't surprise me if we start to see the storm weaken as it lifts northward. I can't guarantee that, but that's kind of what I'm watching for. I'm watching to see if this will continue to have a weakening trend. And it looks like we're on a weakening trend already with this storm. If we watch it, you can see that hail core is fairly intense as it moves in, and then does look like it's maybe starting to break up a little bit. So we'll watch it as it makes its way northward. This cluster, the good news is, if you look at this whole thing, this whole cluster together. One of the good things about this is you're probably not going to see much rotation out of this. Maybe that Marlin storm, if that's all by itself and it wants to do something, it could. But the good news is that when you have more of these storms closer together, that's a lower risk of rotation because there's not one storm that can grab hold of all of that storm fuel, that instability, that moisture, and start to rotate. So that is kind of limiting that threat there. Again, we'll talk about this little line of storms from just south of Joshua through Cleburne, through Rio Vista, almost to Blum there. This little line just not doing much less than perhaps we thought was going to come through. Not really much of a wind situation right now, although I will say, looks like we could be increasing some of those wind speeds with that line. But for the moment, it's just simply a line of heavy rain. Could be some lightning and thunder coming out of that too. Looks like we could be trying to develop a little bit of a hail core there, but really not seeing anything much. Nicole asking, do you think that storm that is near Corsicana will hit our area tonight? Nicole, if you mean Corsicana specifically, it is headed that direction, but you say our area, so I don't know specifically what you're talking about there, but it is headed towards Corsicana, or at least close to there, in the next several minutes. So it does look like it could very well be headed that way soon. A report from Shelby in Alvarado saying it just got dark there. I mean, you are going to see some darkening clouds from those storms to your west that are rolling in. That is, again, along the front. And so that is what you're going to see moving eastward. I mean, you're not going to see probably anything too terribly intense out of that. Nicole, you're asking about Waxahachie. The storms near Corsicana, not going to make it towards Waxahachie. They're going to be headed east of there, more towards Kaufman after Navarro County. Really towards Henderson County and then Kaufman County and on from there, possibly over towards Canton. And Caleb, will Athens get any tornadoes? Well, probably not. I don't believe that Athens is under that tornado watch. You're a little more stable there, so I don't think that there's much of a tornado risk for the Athens area. Really, it's going to be Ellis, Navarro, westward on really our area, north and south is kind of where the tornado threat is. Now, I will say north of us, pretty stable, so probably not much of an issue there. South of us, it's just the tornado threat doesn't look like, at least to this point, it doesn't look like it's really materialized much. We didn't have really much thinning of the clouds, much clearing. That limited any of the heating of the ground that would limit that thermal convection, and so that's kind of what we're looking at there. Araceli asking if there's any more storms expected after 9 p.m. So the tornado watch expires at 9 p.m. I'm sure that's what you're asking about. And at this point, it doesn't look like it because it looks like the front will have moved through. We could see some rain after 9 o'clock across our area, but I don't expect really anything other than that. So I think by 9 o'clock, we're probably pretty well done, at least with the heavier stuff. Now, if we get some rain, get some showers here and there, that won't be, I think, out of the question here. But we probably won't be looking at any kind of severe weather across our area at that point. Yeah, see, now the cat's, now Tiger's walking around on the keyboard. You can't do that. You're throwing me off. Let's look back at velocity here, just because I think that we could start to see some increasing winds with this line. Really not much. I mean, it's just not really doing anything. Looks like the cold front is just kicking up some convection, just enough to bring a shot of heavy rain, maybe a few claps of thunder as that passes. I haven't even seen any lightning on the radar with this complex, so there doesn't seem to be much going on with it. It looks like tonight's event, fortunately, is not kind of unfolding. And the National Weather Service kind of referred to this, Storm Prediction Center, I'll say, kind of said that things were not looking as terribly intense as they maybe thought when they issued that tornado warning. Looked like there might have been some thinning of the clouds, but that didn't really pan out. There was a little bit of clearing down towards the Italy area, so parts of our area might have seen some clearing in the clouds, but just not enough heat and sunlight to really make a volatile atmosphere. Now, clearly there was enough for this intense storm south of Corsicana. That severe thunderstorm warning has expired at this point. So at this what? At this rate, this storm really not looking too terribly intense. Let's take a look at the velocity here. And as far away as this storm is, it's hard to see. I mean, we're on the fringes here, so it's hard to see how much of that is accurate in terms of those winds. It's also kind of hard to see any kind of rotation. It doesn't look like we're really seeing much. And then as far as the vertically integrated liquid, does look like that hail core is diminishing there. So this storm is weakening as it moves northward into Navarro County. That severe thunderstorm warning was allowed to expire, so it does look like there's plenty of heavy rain in this one, but it's not enough to justify a continued severe thunderstorm warning. So that's where we are with this complex here, that it does look like the weakening trend will continue. And I know you might be looking at this curvature here, but I personally have not seen anything in terms of rotation or anything like that with this complex. So, but again, I mean, it's farther away from the radar, so it's hard sometimes to kind of tell what we're looking at there. Try another radar tower, and I'm still not really seeing anything that has me too convinced either way. So we will continue to monitor that. But the storms in Johnson County, from just near Joshua, moving towards Keene, through moving out of Cleveland here, moving into Keene, moving across Rio Vista, heading towards Itasca here, just this little line. Really not much at all. So somebody asking about the Weather Prediction Center tweeted expecting 1 to 2 inches of rainfall rates, up to a quick 2 to 3 inches of rain. I'm not sure what they're referring to. I haven't seen that personally, but I can tell you, you're not going to probably get that from this line. This line is just going to continue to move eastward. Now, this complex, again, to our southeast, moving into Navarro County, this one, you might get some pretty impressive rain rates from that. But this line here, not really doing much. West of that, it's kind of lighter rain, not really much to it. So overall tonight, I will say that our situation is not really that dire for sure. Let me take a look at this and see what the Weather Prediction Center is saying. So I mean, they're expecting very heavy rain from some of these complexes, and I think honestly they are probably referring to this complex here. I think that's what they're talking about. When you hear the Weather Prediction Center, they're talking about these high rainfall rates and those kinds of things, the possibility of some flash flooding. I think they're really just talking about this complex. Possibly the front, once it catches up to it, they could be referring to some convergence there, but really not much for our particular area. I think most of that flooding concern is going to be to our east. Let's see, none of the apps state you're getting rain in Alvarado, but it's right next to me at the moment. So the thing with apps, most apps are automated. It's not a human being telling you anything. So, take an app with a very big helping of salt, because it's not a person telling you anything about the weather. It is strictly a computer telling you what it thinks is going on. Computers can only look at other data, right? Can't look out the window and tell you what's going on. So that's why apps are hit and miss at best with your weather information. So I'll put this into motion for you here. And I'm going to drop the frame rate to 7 frames. We don't need a whole lot. So here's what we have going on. Just a heavy thunderstorm moving into Navarro County. This one is no longer severe. That severe thunderstorm warning allowed to expire at 4:30. And then just this thin line over in Johnson County, headed over towards parts of Ellis County. We will see if that intensifies as it moves eastward. I doubt it, but we will see what happens. We will keep an eye on all of this for you. Joshua, yes, heavy rain and lightning and streetman, so that is in that storm. Lots of lightning, lots of heavy rain with that storm, but it is weakening as it moves northward. Same with this line. It really is just kind of staying at the intensity that it's at. That's the front, that's the cold front, just kicking up some convection, but neither of these are near as intense as it looked. Neither of them appear to fit the bill of a tornado watch at this point. So it does look like the consistent cloud cover, those overcast skies, limiting all of that warming was sufficient enough to keep things relatively calm and stable for our particular area, which is good news. Now, just west of Hillsborough here, you see some new development. We'll see if that helps fill in some of that line here, but the severe thunderstorm warning, we went live, of course, talking about that severe thunderstorm warning that was moving into Navarro County there. We came live, went live just to talk about that. That has since expired and that storm is weakening. And then, of course, we have this line, which is not severe, just some heavy rain, maybe a few claps of thunder, moving through Johnson County right now. I will bring back more live coverage. We're going to wrap this up, and I'm going to take the chance just to post regular updates on the page, but we will bring more live coverage if we have more severe weather to talk about. But for now, not much happening with this storm or the one in Navarro County, or the one in Johnson County. Both look pretty docile at this point, but the tornado watch does continue until 9 p.m. Stay tuned to South Metro Weather for further updates throughout the evening.